welcome back. I want to cover a couple of things in Qlab. Firstly, show you how to set up your Mac. Now, Qlab's a Mac-only program to output correctly to your Vision switcher. In this case, we're just outputting to a local monitor. How to change the hertz rate of your video output, how to access your extended output resolutions on your Mac, and then how to direct cues to go to the right output in Qlab. So just to start, go to Apple System Preferences. Now, assuming you're plugged into a Blackmagic switcher, you'll see something like this. You'll have a couple of different options here. Make sure that your arrangement is not unmirrored. You want a dual output situation so that your workspace is in the built-in Mac monitor and your secondary output is actually your display. So let's have a look at that. Click your secondary output, go Gather Windows. This is now the settings for the secondary output. Now when it's plugged into a switcher, it won't say the name of the monitor, it'll say BMD Atom or whatever type of switcher that you're plugged into. These are being HDMI capable switches. So at the moment, it says that the secondary output is set to 720p. We want to verify that we have the right resolution. Here it says scaled. I want you to hold Option and re-click that, and what you'll see is a whole bunch of additional available output resolutions will pop up. Now, for the most part, in this course, we're running 720p, which is 1280 by 720. Now, we're going to start this setup at 60 Hertz. What you may find is that if you don't get signal on your Blackmagic switcher, you'll need to change the global operating refresh rate to 59.59 Hertz, 720p, and it most likely will work then. Try 60 Hertz to start with on everything, and then see how you go. So once you've done that, the next thing I want you to do is make sure your background wallpaper on your secondary monitor is black. The way you do that is right click on your secondary monitor, go change desktop background, pick your color you want to assign. By default, black won't be there, so just pick a different color. Go to custom color, drag the slider all the way to black. You want no light whatsoever. And this is so that when you drop out of Qlab, your projector or your video output technology is not displaying an image of any sort. Okay. So the next thing you want to do is go to Qlab itself. So open Qlab and you'll get this window will pop up. This is your workspace. Now, sometimes, depending on how your settings were, you might not actually get a secondary output straight away. And we're going to have a look at that. So go to Window Workspace Settings, and you just want to verify that under Video you can see two surfaces, and that your Surface 2 should be your 1280 by 720 resolution that you selected before. While we're there, you might as well check audio and just ensure that whatever audio outputs we're using are available to us in our audio patch. In this case, we're just using the built-in output, and our video cue will be on Surface 2. So that's ready. Workspace settings are set up. Now this is the Qlab workspace. So I'm just going to drag a couple of videos across to it. So it's just drag and drop. Videos pop up. But you do have to define where these videos go. So I'll show you what happens if I just play the cue. So by playing a cue, you select it, highlight it blue, and hit spacebar. So this is what's going to happen. So as you can see, the cue went to the built-in Mac monitor, which is what we don't want. We want to be able to switch to it on a primary output, a projector, etc. So select the cue, go to Display and Geometry, and select the output you want to send the cue to. Now you're going to have to do that for both cues. And if you're using an audio interface, you'll have to do that for audio as well. It's in audio levels, and it says audio output patch. And in this case, we're going built-in out, but we could go HDMI, we could go MBOX. It just depends on what the actual setup is. So let's try that again. Select our cue, press space, And now the queue is running on the secondary monitor. Just going to kill that. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is how to stop a queue. Now there's two ways to stop a queue. The first way is to drop the entire Qlab platter altogether. It's like a panic button. It just stops what Qlab's doing. And it's really simple. Just hit the escape key and everything that's playing in Qlab will be dropped and stop playing. Now, the reason this could be a problem is, let's say you're doing a theatre show, and let's say when the videos aren't running, you want a still image to always be up. So we're going to do that now. So there's our still image there. And we'll run the still image. Actually, sorry, I haven't set that to the right monitor. So we're going to send the still image to our secondary surface. We're going to run the still image. Now we're in this space where we can run a video. And we'll just see what happens when the video ends. I'm just going to skip forward here.
Will it discover a new medicine in a desert flower? Charles Darwin University. A new world.
So the video ends. And what's just happened is that original image that played before the video stays up because it hasn't been told stop. And being a still image, it has no end. So how do we maintain that? Well, I'll show you. So if I hit escape, that image is going to stop too. Well, we might not want that. We might want to be able to stop a current queue without stopping everything. And this is how you do it. You find this little stop button icon here, or you go queue stop, and you create what's called a stop queue. You then decide where the stop queue wants to play, and in this case I'm going to make it stop this New World University queue. And now it's doing nothing, and then you drag the queue you want to stop into the stop queue. So now I can run my image queue, my video queue, and then I can stop my video with my stop queue. So I'm just going to kill everything now that I've showed you stop queues. Next thing I want to show you is how to start a queue late. It's really simple. Just select a video or an audio file, go to the time and loops and drag your start time in to be a different section of time. You can use the waveform to guide you. And you can do that on the end as well. So we can shorten this queue to only be a few seconds. And now we're going to run that queue. Okay, straight in, straight out, 0.92 of a second. The next thing I want to show you is, say you want the audio of a queue to fade. So I'm going to drag an audio queue in here and we'll make that happen. So let's have a look at the timing of the queue. Let's go to a really sort of punchy section and we'll make this really short. Let's just play it unedited. Okay, that'll do. Now we're going to make that fade out, and this is how you do it. So again, in time and loops, go use integrated fade. You need to then click on this line to create fade handles, and then you can click and drag the handles, and these operate like Bezier curves. So that is now controlling the level of the actual clip. So let's have a listen. So it's already softer than it should have been. And over time, it's fading out. All right, so I've got a couple more tools to show you. One is, I'm just going to delete this stop queue, and that'll bring me how to delete a queue. Now, there's only one way to delete a queue in Qlab, and it's a keyboard shortcut, so don't forget it. It is Command, Delete, queue's gone. Okay, so this is the next thing I want to show you. I've got this queue. I'm going to make this a little bit shorter, just to demonstrate this in action. This is what I want to happen. I want this queue to play, and then the next queue to play directly after it. So this is how you do it. You go to the queue you want to automatically go first. You go to the first queue, then you go to basics, and you choose auto follow. And if I run that queue, and you see straight away after it the next video plays. Now I'm just going to show you another example of the continue tools. So instead of auto follow this time, I'm going to choose auto continue and show you what happens. Now, as you can see, both cues are playing together. Now that might be how you put an image with an audio track, or put sound with a video that are separate. There's different things you can achieve with that. So just to recap, I've showed you how to set your workspace, set your Mac to output correctly, set your audio to output correctly, how to direct a cue to the relevant video output, how to direct a cue to the relevant audio output, how to start a cue late, how to finish a cue early, how to use an integrated fade, and how to auto follow and auto continue, and finally how to delete a cue, command delete.